Okay. Good afternoon, guys. Am I audible?
Good afternoon.
Okay. So today we'll see little related to your project and little managerial questions. Okay, how to pick it up. Okay, so we'll go ahead with that. So first, I wanted to talk about one question. Okay, so that is self introduction. Okay, self introduction. So what do you mean by self introduction? Or how precisely you have to give your self introduction? Anybody will want to try? Okay, so please analyze the only way you are going to tell about yourself to the interviewer is two aspects. One is your resume, another one is the way you introduce yourself. Okay, so whenever you are providing your introduction, make sure you are giving only wanted information. Okay, don't give unwanted information. Maybe like where you had worked previously, which domain you have the knowledge, not necessary. Okay, so what is your experience, or I can tell what is your relevant experience in testing, so that if you emphasize that, it is more than enough. Okay, always start with your name. Okay, then you can go with your qualification if you have any degree. Okay, and if the degree is relevant, say for example, if you are an MCA or a BCA, no need to tell. If you are a diploma, no need to tell. If you are engineering, if you are done with engineering, that too, if it is any IT related, you can specify the branch, otherwise branch not required. Okay, then talk about your employment. Okay, so what is your current company, what is your previous company? Okay, where have you worked previously and what is your current company, what is the position you have hold there? Then talk about your project. Okay, during your tenure in that company, how many projects you have handled? Okay, no need to elaborate the project, because there is another question called as project explanation. So you are going to just tell what are the, how many projects you have handled as a whole, and explain roles and responsibility of your previous project. So this will anyway take around 6 to 10 minutes. Okay, anywhere, if you cut short also, if you elaborate also, it will be hardly around 6 to 10 minutes, or maximum 10 to 12 minutes. Okay, you have to be prepared for this question. Similarly, if I have to talk about the second question, okay, is your project explanation. How are you going to explain your project? When you are talking about your project, always remember it is your recent project only. Okay, even if he did not mention please explain me your recent project, if he just tells explain your project also, you should understand that it is your recent project. Recent project means just before leaving the company, what is a project you have done. Okay, start with the project name. Okay, if needed or if you remember, you can also tell the client name. If you don't know, you can skip it. You can tell the duration of your project. Okay, duration of the project, why your project came into picture, that is nothing but your problem statement. Okay, how, and and a brief description about the project. Please remember, while explaining the project, if you tell at least one proper workflow, okay, if you tell the proper workflow of the project, that is enough. No need to emphasize your roles and responsibilities, because he is not asking what is your role in that. He is asking what is your project all about. So entire the workflow with a, okay, end to end scenario. Take an end to end scenario in your project and explain the complete workflow there. Okay, so this is how you are going to explain your project. Please write it down. Okay, don't record, it will not work. Write it down. Okay, self introduction, this is what you have to give. Project explanation, this is what you have to give. Write down. Write down, I'll give you 5 minutes of time.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, workflow with a end-to-end scenario.
Hmm.
That means we need to tell about the modules in that application.
Yes, you need to first explain about the modules, then take an end-to-end scenario. Maybe like if you take e-commerce application, add a product. Okay, choose a product, add a product into cart, verify the product whether it is there in the cart or not in the cart page. Then check it in the database. Okay, like that. They become an end-to-end scenario. So
Okay.
pick it up those kind of end-to-end scenarios and explain. And also, guys, while you are explaining the modules, you should use the words which you have find out. Okay, you should use synonyms only. Don't take up modules from your vTagger application similar to any CRM application. Don't take from vTagger. You have to use your own synonyms. Is it clear? Shall we proceed? Shall I proceed?
Ma'am,
Yeah.
in VTiger, how it works, ma'am? We don't know how the end to end will work in the VTiger application.
See, application, if you want to understand, you should explore. You had the application past 2 months. What did you do? Hmm? You should do some R&D na, on application. Okay, fine, fine. Later, I'll try to explain at least the basics.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah. Okay. So next comes roles and responsibilities. What are the roles and responsibilities? Okay, roles and responsibilities are okay different for different projects. Please remember, all the projects, all the project what you have done cannot have a same roles and responsibilities. For example, you would have joined as a manual test engineer. So in that project where you are showing manual testing, you would have worked only on manual testing. So there you should include the responsibilities of manual testing. Next project you would have done only pure automation, so at that point of time no need to show manual testing. Directly if you show automation it is enough. Similarly, when you go ahead, if you have done API with automation, so API and automation points should be there in your roles and responsibilities. If you ignore manual also, it is fine. Okay, so that is how it is going to work. Every project will be some kind of roles and responsibilities will be different. Few points might be repeated. Okay, few points might be repeated, but that should be different. Okay, don't simply on copy and paste it. Okay, and when you're talking about roles and responsibilities, I don't want everybody to talk about the same things. Okay, some people can start with manual test cases. Okay, say for example, you had you used to get the test cases from manual test engineers. Then you were involved in segregation of the test case. Once after the segregation of test cases, the test cases were allocated to you by your team lead. So with the help of those test cases, you were pulling the recent framework from GitHub. You were analyzing the requirements of manual test case. You were executing the manual test case manually once, and then you will check whether the framework consists of the POM is updated or not, whether the required generic utilities are updated or not. Then you will start writing the test script. After writing the test scripts, you will push it into GitHub. Okay, then you are going to check whether a suit is created for that particular test case or not. You will include it in the suit. You will check whether the job is there in the Jenkins or not. So if not, you were involved in creating a job. Okay, like this you have to take a flow. It's like what you have done, you have to explain that. Okay, couple of others can start with GitHub. Okay, immediately, okay, whenever a new build comes, you were pulling the recent framework from the GitHub. Then you were checking what are the test cases that were allocated to you. Okay, like that, reverse engineering. Same thing. See, if you are an automation engineer, the main agenda is you have to automate the test script. But I cannot tell you that was the only thing I was doing. Understanding? So you have to frame little nice sentences and you have to put it up. The starting points are different. Okay, some people can start from Jenkins. Okay, from Jenkins, if you ask me, like every after every executions Jenkins report we used to get it through our mails. So we were checking whether the how many test cases were passed, how many test cases were failed. So the failed test cases we were distributing amongst ourselves, and we were starting the debugging process. Okay, then we used to run only the failed test suite with the help of testng underscore failed.xml file. Then we used to analyze. Okay, sometimes it was just a network or network or server issues, so we have adopted retry analyzer for that. Sometimes the server issues were there, we used to raise it as a defect to the customer, not to the developer. And sometimes what we have analyzed is like some features regression issues were there, so we used to put a breakpoint on that particular test case. We used to run the scripts in debug mode, and we used to analyze how the scripts are behaving. So if it is a product issue, I will raise it as a defect. If it is a script issue, we will correct it and we will re-push it to the GitHub. So this is how you are going to start. And if any new test cases are allocated to me, I'll be starting the automation process. Okay, because not all the sprints you are going to sit and automate. Debugging is also very important. Okay, because from one sprint to another sprint, from one build to another build, lot of changes will be there and lot of regression issues will be there, lot of impact oriented issues will be there. So you have to check what are these. This is another starting point. And couple of you can start from Jira as well. Okay, so Jira is a defect tracking tool. Okay, which you can take. It's basically a project management tool, but if you are comfortable in that, you can go ahead. Otherwise, we'll see. Okay, so if you are not comfortable, any defect tracking tool, if you know, you can tell that, no problem. Tomorrow I'm planning to have Agile and Jira session. Let us see how it goes. Okay, so through Jira also you can tell we used to get a defect report, or we used to get a status change by the developer. So based on that we used to act. Okay, these kind of things you can include. And always, whatever the roles and responsibilities you add, do not exclude meetings. Okay, do not exclude meetings, because these are part and parcel of your company. Okay, part and parcel of your job. So you have attended daily stand up meeting, you have attended release retrospective meetings, sprint retrospective meetings. Okay, review meetings. Okay, you can include meetings in your roles and responsibilities. And when you are answering, please remember roles and responsibilities. If you are telling for your recent project, minimum 15 to 20 points you should be ready. Minimum 50 to 20 points, which is going to cover everything related to your project, everything related to your tools. Okay, if you have used Excel sheet, use that as a point. If you have used any other tools, use that as a point. Okay, make sure you are showcasing complete tools and technologies you know with the help of your roles and responsibilities. Is it clear? Is it clear? Take this as a task and write down. How you will write is, pick up any of these starting points and write what you are going to do in that. What you are going to do, what you have done. Okay, how it works. So you should think and you should write. Minimum 15 points I want. Take it as a task. Is it clear? Is it clear? Next question. When you go to the office, what are your daily activities? So always remember, whenever you go to your office, first thing you have to do is check your mails. Whatever is the mails, according to that you have to act. Sometimes you will get a mail from Jenkins regarding the execution report. Sometimes you might get a mail from Jira telling the bug status. Sometimes you might get a mail from GitHub. So someone would have created a pull request for you. Okay, sometimes you are going to get a report from or get a mail from Jira about your new test case allocation. Sometimes you might get a mail from your team lead or team members to attend a meeting. Okay, based on this you have to act. Okay, if you get a manual test case, pull the recent framework from GitHub, check the framework whether your POM is updated, whether your utilities are updated, start automating. If you get a mail from Jenkins, analyze the pass and fail ratio for all the fail scripts, put a breakpoint, run it in debug mode, debug the process. If you get a mail from Jira regarding bug status, analyze the status. If it is open, closed, or if developer is asking any other explanations, provide it. If you are getting a mail from your team members to review the test case, maybe from GitHub for pull request and all, review it and update the review comments. If it is for any meeting, just go and attend the meeting. So this is how you are going to tackle. These are the points where you are going to get official mails from Jira, Jenkins, GitHub, or okay, from your team. Usually teams will be maintained via Slack, or some people will be communicating via Microsoft Teams app. Okay, a lot of ways are there to communicate, or some people would just write a mail for everything. Okay, a lot of means are there. So you stick to one point, because as of now our communication will be through mail. Okay, so stick to that mail. Okay, some people will follow Slack for communication of project related things. Okay, so you can stick to one point. Is it clear? See, this is these sessions and all, I will just give you the overview. I cannot give you the detailed point, because if I give, everybody will start using the same points. You should come up, you should tell, you should talk. Okay, I'm just giving you the overview, how it is, what you have to do. Is it clear? Now let me look into few statistics of the project. Okay, let me look into few statistics of the project. Always remember, whenever you get into the project, okay, let me first finish this. Okay, whenever you get into the project, your project will consist of a epic. Okay, these are some of the agile terminologies. I'm going to cover half of the agile. Look here. So your entire requirement will be broken down into epic. So can you tell me what is an epic? You all have done with agile, right? What is an epic?
And requirements sprint.
Epic is a
Release,
complete
ma'am?
set of requirement, right? No. Who told release? Epic is a complete set of requirement. I can tell epic means it is an unprioritized requirement. Okay, whole CRS you can take it as a epic. This epic.
The rough requirement of complete application.
Yes, complete application requirement. Whatever till now your customer has given to you, that entire story, entire things, you are going to take it as a epic. Further, what happens? These epics will be broken down into user stories. User story means it's a piece of requirements which can be attempted as of now. If you take, I'm in this first sprint, I can take first user story 1, user story 2, I can complete. Okay, so we cannot tackle the entire epic, we cannot go and build the entire application at once. So what we will do, little functionalities we are going to split in the form of user stories. Epic is a whole requirement, user story is a piece of that whole requirement. This user story can be further broken down into tasks. Okay, so tasks is, again, you can tell, a part of user story. Okay, if you take create organization is a user story. Okay, create organization is a user story. In that, task can be, okay, maybe including okay, organization name, or including organization details, including the contact details, okay, including the member, all these things, small things are there now. They are all called as task. What is a scrum team? What is a scrum team? Scrum is a methodology which is followed in your agile process. People who are involved in your project, in your scrum project, they are called as scrum team. Again, if you analyze, scrum team is divided into two types. One is the core team, another one is the shared team. Core team always consists of developers, testers, and the scrum master. Scrum master can be from development end or from testing end, or it might be a separate designation for him. Okay, he might not belong to either developers or testers. Okay, and always remember, if you are telling core team, that core team will be exclusively involved in the current project only. If he is a core team member, then he is not working for any other projects, he is working only for that project. Okay, so that is an agenda. Shared team means your network engineer, your DevOps, okay, all these, your field engineers, installation engineers, all these people will come under shared team. Shared team people can handle multiple projects at a time. Okay, but nowadays some companies will make you work for more than two projects also, because one client would have given multiple projects, so the client would be happy with one person's performance, so he tell no, let him handle this and this both. Okay, at that time even the core team members will be split into two projects. Okay, so this is how your scrum team works. It will be headed by person called as scrum master. Okay, so now coming to, I'll come to story point later, okay, because it is little tricky to understand. Now let me come to the product backlog. What do you mean by product backlog is all the epics, okay, all the epic which consists of all the user stories will be converted into product backlog. Product backlog means it is just prioritized set of user stories. Prioritized set in the sense which user story you have to create first. Okay, that is decided in the product backlog. Say for example, I have two user stories. One is create organization, okay, another one is create contact. So if you analyze, according to my requirement, create contact is first, create organization is next. But in my priority, what I will do, I will first create organization, then I'm going to create a contact. Can you tell me why? Can you tell me why? Because when you are creating contact, you have an option to choose organization. So if you want to check, if you want to test that particular feature, you have to have organization module enabled or developed. So based on these kind of criterias, we are going to prepare product backlog. Both testers and developers will sit together and they are going to prepare product backlog. Just because within one test, okay, they have to cover maximum things. This product backlog, what they will do, again it is a complete epic. Okay, complete epic with epic or complete set of user stories will be converted into priorities. This product backlog will be again converted into sprint backlog. Sprint backlog means again it is prioritized user stories but relevant to sprint. What do you mean by a sprint? It's the duration. Okay, it's a duration required to develop and test a particular user story, a particular feature. In a sprint, you can have a single user story or you can take multiple user stories depending on the requirement. Okay, which user story you have to develop in current sprint, it is decided by sprint backlog. Is it clear? Is it clear? Now observe, every project will be divided into releases. Okay, let's say my project is of 2 years. Okay, 2 years is the duration for my project. That 2 years, I cannot give entire project at once to my customer. I cannot take, I will let him develop for 1 year, I will test it for 1 year, then we will give the release. No, it's not possible. Agile means every now and then, okay, you have to make your product, make sure your software is working, and you have to give a working piece of software in the short duration. Okay, in a short duration. That short duration is called as release. So you are giving working piece of software to customer so that he can run his business. Take an example of Swiggy. Okay, Swiggy followed Agile, Zomato followed Waterfall. Swiggy, what he will do is within a month, he is going to develop the basic features first. What is a basic feature? Restaurant should be available, I should be able to book. I'm not giving any extra vacant facilities, nothing, just click book, that's all. Okay, in a month, my application will be in the market. Okay, Zomato, what it is doing, it is still building the project, it is still building up everything, analyzing requirements, everything, it is still doing. By that time, Swiggy has already given a release. After 1 month, okay, he will enable chat feature. After 1 month, he will enable UPI payments. After 1 month, he will enable credits. After 1 month, he will enable the UI. Okay, he'll enable a beautiful UI, he'll upgrade the UI. Understanding? After 1 month, again he'll enable some cashback, some coupons, all these things. So imagine 6 months they have taken. This is a very short term project. 6 months they have taken to develop the project. By 6 months, Zomato, which is using waterfall model, is capable of giving only the basic features. But by 6 months, Swiggy, which followed Agile process, provided 4 to 5 releases with all advanced level of features. This is one point if you have to consider. Another point is Swiggy came first. Imagine, this is not the documented reasons. Swiggy has come first in the sense it has created its fan base. Okay, people will be comfortable using that. So people will find it very difficult to switch. And that too, if you are having this much functionality in this application, why would anyone want to switch? Getting the point? So this we call it as a release. If you are giving the release to your customer, that means with that release, he can start his business. Okay, he can start, he can use that application, he can put it into market. Okay, so if you are taking a 2 years project, okay, 2 years in the sense 24 months project, so at least you need 2 months to provide a release. Okay, see, one release is equal to 2 months. So in your entire project, you can have around 12 to 14 releases. Never give exact number. The reason is it keeps on varying. Okay, a lot of aspects are there for variation. So you can give a range. Okay, around 12 to 14, around 13 to 13 to 14 releases were there. Around 10 to 12 releases were there. Okay, nobody has an optimal number for this. Okay, you can calculate based on this. Okay, so if you take a sprint, always remember, okay, release consists of sprints. Okay, see here, this is release 1. In this release you can have 3 sprints, 4 sprints, 2 sprints. The sprint is a collective duration wherein you can do some job. Okay, the reason why releases are split into sprints is, if you take release as a 2 month, okay, imagine I'm taking release duration as 2 months. That means 2 months once I'm going to my customer, I'm giving the software, correct? No, if this sprint concept is not there, 2 months completely it is given for me to develop and test this application. What I will do, 1 month I'll be around, say, no worries at all, I will wail away the time. Last 1 month I will sit and work and I will give a product. So do you think it will be efficient? No. So what these leads and customers do is, after every sprint they will monitor. Okay? After every sprint they will have a review. Boss, you tell me what you have done in the sprint. Usually sprint will be 15 days. Okay, 1 week or 15 days. So they are going to monitor you. So they are going to have a review at the end of the sprint, so that after 2 months you are giving a better quality product. Okay, product quality will be good. That is the reason releases are split into sprints. And always remember, after sprint, you are going to give a demo, but you are not giving a project. You are not giving it to the customer. You are just giving a demo to him. He might suggest changes to you. He might tell, no, do like this, do like that. He can give the changes. Okay. So usually, as I said, sprint duration will be 2 weeks. So for a release, you can have 3 to 4 sprints depending on your calculation. See, this calculation I am giving it for 2 years. Okay, if your recent project is 1 year, divide everything by 2. If your recent project is 3 years, into 1.5. If your recent project is 4 years, into 2. Okay, like that you have to plan your calculations. Okay, so for one release I'm having 4 sprints, because 2 months by, okay, 15 days, in the sense it will be roughly 4 sprints. So 4 into 12, around 45 to 48 sprints you can have for your entire project. Sprints can go up to 60, 50, 70, doesn't matter. Okay, it depends on the planning of your manager. So 45 to 48 sprints I have it in my project. Then in this sprint you can get multiple builds. It's not like one build will be given for one sprint. No, not like that. It is like whatever the application your or whatever the source code your developer is writing, that source code he is going to convert it into executable format and he will give it to you. Sometimes a new feature might be added, sometimes a bug fixing might be added. So this will be maintained with the help of versions. Okay, usually what happens, there is a concept of planned build and unplanned build. Planned build means developer will give a commitment to you telling, for every sprint I will give 2 builds. Okay, 2 builds I'm going to give. Unplanned means there might be immediate bug fixing, there might be immediate new feature, customer requirement change. So we don't know. You might get it. Okay. So roughly, if you calculate per sprint, you can have nearly 2 to 4 builds. Okay. Overall, if you take per release around 10 to 12 builds, total number of builds will be around 90 to 100 or 80 to 90 builds in your entire project. How this question will be is, they might ask you how many builds have you tested in your previous project. So you have to tell roughly around 80 to 85 builds. I think we would have tested, because I was involved in the project from the very initial stage. Okay, this is how you are going to give a analysis. Is it clear? Take a picture of this, because I'm not going to share the document. Take a picture of this. Keep it for yourself. It is for your analysis. Okay, I think I have tabulated here. So builds per release, total number of builds. Okay, now I think team size I have already explained. Okay, automation team size, manual team size, everything I have already explained. So let me come to the test cases. Roughly for a 2 years project, you can have around 3000 plus test cases. Amongst that test case, always decide first number of test cases. Amongst that, 70 to 80% of the test cases are automatable. What is not automatable is, if there is any, okay, you can take that question also. Okay, I'll give it as non or not automatable Okay, test cases. What are the test cases that were not automatable in your project? So if you ask me, if you get any hardware involvement, let's say I got a quotation. Okay, I got a quotation, so I have to take a printout and I have to verify. Printer is a hardware device, you cannot connect. You can tell we had a fingerprint validation. Okay, but that needs a fingerprint module, so it can't be automated. Okay, these kind of hardware requirements, you have to come up with a situation in your project. Think, you will definitely get at least one or two. And for you, imagine you are four automation engineers. If you get one or two, it is enough. Okay, one or two situations, if you calculate, it is enough. Okay, and then you can tell image. Okay, you had all canvas images, which was very difficult to automate. Okay, or you can tell you had a scenario which required video streaming. Okay, video streaming is difficult to automate. Okay, like this. So for canvas images, you have to use a tool called as Sikuli. So you can use it, you can automate it, but you can tell it required a lot of efforts, so we decided to give it to manual testers. Okay, video streaming, don't tell everybody. I'm very sure your first answer will be barcode or QR code. No doubt it is true, but can you tell in the login page you had barcode or QR code that you could not automate? You cannot tell that, because login page is stable, and your login barcode or QR code or any captcha, that is present in the production environment, but you are testing in test environment, so don't tell that. You can tell like you had QR code. Okay, you had QR code in payments. Okay, payments module that you could not automate. So like that, come up with a relevant situation. I don't want only direct answers. Okay, don't tell hardcore hardware, canvas image, video streaming. No, take a situation and explain that. Take a picture of this. Okay, so based on all these criteria, so if you leave that 20% which were not automatable, so rest all you can automate. Whereas in rest assured, it's not like that. There is nothing non-automatable test cases. Okay, you can automate everything. Rest assured supports, but Selenium does not support few things. So that is what you have written here. Okay, so for 3,500 test cases, if you take, okay, around 30% of it are defects, will be defects. So around 1,200 to 1,500 defects, if you tell you have found. The bugs is this is the total number of defects. Through automation, you can tell 20% of your bugs. Okay, because automation engineers finding defects is very rare. It will be only regression thing, so it is less, around 20% you can tell. Okay, in this also you can have individual contribution based on your team size. Say for example, you are four automation testers. Okay, you are four automation testers. How many test cases you have automated? How many test cases you have automated? Individual contribution will be 3,200 by 4, around 700 to 800. Similarly, how many bugs you have found? 200 by 4. Okay, maybe around 45 to 50. Like this you have to tell based on your team size. If it is 3, divided by 3. If it is 2, divided by 2. Is it clear? Okay, so you can take a picture of this. Okay. Okay, fine. So we'll wind it up as of now. So 3 o'clock we'll join again, and we will discuss about challenges, ATLC, and this diagram. Okay. So this is not with my end. You have to practice. Okay, you have to analyze. You have to come up. Just like API project related questions, I'm going to share another for your Selenium project also. So you can fill it. You will get a better idea on this. Okay, any doubts? If they ask why app is not present in the online store, any information online. See, Amar, the question will be like, you are talking about your recent project. Okay, recent project, you can tell I left it in the testing, phase itself. I left the company in testing phase. So the product might be in production, but I have left the company, so I don't know the URL. Okay, that is how you are going to change it. Okay, or else you can tell I have signed NDA, so I'm not sure about the URL. I cannot share it. Or you can tell, the customer was very keen about the project, so he has changed the URL in the production. Okay, so we cannot give it. Okay, like that you can tell. Changing version can be compared to releases. Yes, Summer. All the versions will be present in your, uh, you know, GitHub. So different versions, different releases will be taken care. Ma'am, what about current company? Yeah, good question. Current company, what you tell is, please never tell you were involved in a project in your test yantra. Okay, never tell that. What you can tell is, I was recruited. They were expecting a project, so they recruited me. But unfortunately, the project did not turn up due to some reasons. So since there were no projects in the company, they are trying to deploy me to their client. Okay, this is how you are going to hook up. So what you did for 2 months in the company, if they ask you, you can tell I was involved in some other automation stuffs. Like I was helping my colleagues in developing the test scripts. I was involved in reviewing their test scripts. So indirectly I was involved in automation job, but I was not allocated with a project. Okay, that's how you can put up your sentences. Okay, any other questions? Okay, fine. So have your lunch. So at 3 o'clock again we'll connect back and we'll try to finish whatever the minute things that are left out. Regarding LOI, please call. No, someone call and talk. I'm not very sure. I try to reach them out, but they are not reachable. So you please call and check it out. So if they are able to connect at 3 o'clock, it's good. Okay, or else you call Lakshmi and inform her. Monday they might be held up with the work. That's the reason they are not responding. So check it out. Call them once. Anyways, all the numbers are in group. Okay, check it out. Okay, fine guys. Thank you so much. We'll catch up at 3 o'clock.